All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the Hudson Public Utilities Commission meeting. Today is Tuesday, February 8th. We are going to start with a roll call. Jace?
Hassan?
Here.
Nolan?
Here.
Coram?
Present.
Paul?
Here.
Preisel? Rice?
Yes.
Wecken?
Here.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Jace. All right. So first thing on the agenda here is just approval of meeting minutes for the January 11th, 2022 PUC meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
So that's second by Pat.
Joyce.
I thought I heard.
Okay,
Joyce. All right. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. Jumping right in. So number 3, new business, discussion and possible action on hiring administrative/billing assistant. Kip?
Okay, so the new administrative billing assistant was approved with the 2022 budget. After interviews, I am recommending the hiring of Michelle Madison, starting at the 90% start rate of the 2022 approved pay schedule. So we would need a motion and a second and a vote on that. So
Great.
So
All right.
Mary, move to approve.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Great. Thank you. All
Who
in
was that?
favor?
Who made the second?
Susie.
Susan.
Oh,
did.
Susie. Sorry.
Very-
Oh, sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So Michelle, are you going to be shadowing Jace and Chrissy?
Yep. I was actually shadowing Chrissy a lot today.
I bet.
She's a good teacher.
Welcome.
great, congratulations, Michelle.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, was that acceptable for a vote, or should we take that one more time?
No,
I
Oh.
thought the fine. I just had that comment afterwards.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, we should be fine.
All
You didn't
right,
ask
good.
if any were opposed.
Let's get into it. Are there any opposed? I think we're all good, but are there any opposed? All right, crickets. We're good to go. All right, let's jump into 3.2, discussion and possible action on change order number 3 for the wastewater treatment plant project. And I know we got a couple of guests on the phone with us too. So Kip, if you would like to jump into that.
Sure. So, so this is basically discussion on change order number 3 in the amount of $97,475.96 as part of the wastewater treatment plant project. Our contingency that we had from the start of this project was $826,995. We had change order number 1 in the amount of $324,214.94. We had change order number 2 in the amount of $19,590.07, which leaves us a remaining balance on our contingency money for down there of $483,189.99. And today we are we're proposing the change order of, like I said, $97,475.96. So all the change order is in there. I don't know if Andy, you want to go through line by line, or if people have questions on what something might be. We can do it that way. I guess it's completely up to you.
Yeah. How about, first of all, I'm assuming everybody had an opportunity to kind of look through this. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And is there anything that sticks out to anybody on here that they would like to address with the gentleman we have on the phone?
I just want to understand what it's all about. I didn't understand that from all this information
I
here.
have a few questions.
What's the question, Joyce? I guess in terms of,
What is this change order and why is it necessary?
well, the change order is actually consisting of 18 different items, from the last change order when that was approved to through last week. So, obviously in a project of this size that we had, going on down there, it's not even feasible that we would be able to complete this project, without running into some snags or finding stuff that, hey, this wasn't thought of, or, as a matter of fact, things that are underwater or under the wastewater at the time that, when everything was done, they couldn't see.
Okay.
So, as the project moves along, it's kind of, hey, this popped up or that popped up. What do you guys want to do with it? Do we repair it now? Do we not repair it? Do we, just leave it alone? What do we do? So the 18 items that you're looking at are the change items that we're looking for approval on today. One thing that I will point out is item number 14, which is the above grade electrical conduit. That's that $39,418.82. That's actually, it's more or less a credit to us. SEH SEH paid for that. It was just a design issue that happened. SEH is actually paying for that. We're seeing it in the change order, but if you look at the next page is where we've amended our contract with SEH to reduce their contract, their $1.6 million contract, by the $39,418. So, it's showing up in a change order for $39,000, but it ultimately is a savings to us on our contract end with SEH. So,
I have a couple questions. Starting with the first one. The plans that Kip, you had given me when I had asked for them a long time ago. It shows in the plan that there is a masonry wall to be taken out and actually changing the position of the door for that room, closing up the existing door and opening up a doorway around the corner. So I don't understand what this is, because according to the plans, there always was, and I know plans go through different revs as you go through the process, but there was always going to be a new opening into the masonry wall that would require the lintel and everything else in the plan. So I don't understand why it's $2,300 extra.
John, you want to jump in on that? Or Caleb? Oop. Oh, I thought it was muted.
Harry, you're looking at item 1, correct?
Item 1, yep. Now,
Okay.
is COP referencing change order proposal? What does COP stand for? Change order proposal?
Yes. Yep.
And the RFP is
Request for proposal.
cost?
Request for proposal. That's correct.
Okay, so can you explain number 1?
Yep. One of the main things was the general contractor had missed quite a bit of the steel required for the lintel according to how we detailed it. And their stance was that it was pretty vaguely included. So that price was $10,000. The opening was always there. That's true. But the lintel for the beam to support the wall above was missed in the bid and vaguely shown on the plans. So then we worked with them to kind of redesign it. So we got it down to the $2,300.
Okay, so we're paying for our contractor's mistake.
Sorry, say that again.
we're paying for a contractor's mistake because also on DS5, it even talks about the lentil and how it's supposed to be, but it sounds like we're paying for the contractor's mistake.
Yeah, those are the iterations we worked through. And then the solution we came up with did not require any other, materials. So it was the labor and just the revised lintel design.
Okay. I also have a question on item 3. The plans also called out for flex couplings on the suction and discharge piping in that area. What is this?
Right. There were a few pumps that were not included to show the flex couplings, but then we ended up needing them. That's
Oh.
You're really breaking up, Caleb, for some reason.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We're catching like half of it.
I could try calling in.
Try it again. It just sounds better now.
Or, yeah, maybe just try it again. You might.
Sounds better now.
For the flex couplings, this request is for on pumps that we were not intending that they needed them, but they did need them in the end. So it was an addition. The flex couplings were included on a lot of other pumps on the project.
Which building are these in? The sludge building?
Yes,
Building 10?
that's most of them. Yep.
Okay, but the plans called for the flex couplings in building 10. You're saying that the plans didn't include them for all of building 10?
Yeah, I'll pull up the drawings right now. So I think we show them on this type of pump upstairs, and those ones were provided. These ones are for the pumps downstairs, which we did not think needed them, but they do need them.
Okay, do you guys also approve, well, it seems like according to the plans, you guys also approve color verification before the materials are ordered for like the overhead door and the aluminum frame that we already paid for going from aluminum to brown?
A lot of the colors get selected during the shop drying review phase, and that's when this one was caught. And then for the bronze anodize is an adder versus a standard aluminum color.
Okay, so this was missed because there are other ones, but this one was missed?
This is the only aluminum coiling door like this. So that's why it's the only scenario where the base was aluminum mill finished, and then it was an adder to go to the bronze.
Okay, again, in building 10, the next one down, number 6, explosion proof light switch. Again, it seems like everything in this building or in this room in the building requires explosion proof wiring and fittings. Why wouldn't this be included?
When we were laying out the light switches, this one adds a lot of like user flexibility versus what we had shown. And you're right, everything is required to be explosion proof, which is why the price is what it is, higher than a normal switch would be.
Okay, Thanks. I think I only have one more. Again, building 10. Adding mason, line item 13, adding masonry block around existing electrical conduit to isolate from room. Is that part of a building code?
It's part of the electrical explosion proof code. The conduit here was a PVC conduit. So to make it explosion proof, we had to put a masonry around it.
Okay. Oh, I think that's all I had. I'm sure it's enough. I know there is
That's
the
fine.
order control thing, but in building 10, I would assume that you would match like materials in your ductwork, but the PVC ductwork was exposed for the odor control, was it not? Item 50.
The duct in that room was PVC, but there is aluminum used elsewhere. So that's where we felt comfortable with providing aluminum.
Is that required to change it from PVC to aluminum?
No is the short answer. The aluminum was less expensive.
What do you mean less expensive?
To do a PVC duct would have cost more than the aluminum duct.
So did you have to reroute the PVC duct? I don't understand why you would replace the duct if you didn't have to.
Right. It was a routing conflict with how some of the pipe ended up laying out in the building.
Was one more question about the duct. Was it exposed?
Yep, it was exposed.
Thank you. That's all
Thanks,
I
Mary.
have.
Thanks, Mary. Now you bring up a good point too, and I didn't see the original plan here, but I am curious about, if the contractor made a mistake on that. I mean, I guess I agree with you, Mary. I don't understand why we're paying for that.
Are you referring, was that item 1?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Especially if it was already in the plans, which Caleb, you're saying that was originally in our plans, correct?
Right. The contractor would say no, which is why they missed it. Our stance is yes. This door opening was called out, but not specifically referenced to the detail that was mentioned. I think Mary was the
Yeah.
name
Yeah.
that Mary referenced. So for that reason, they didn't include it in their takeoff by the subcontractor providing the steel for the lintel. So does that make any sense about why it?
No, I understand. I get it.
Yep.
It's we're splitting hairs here over $2,300, but nonetheless, every little bit's going to add up. And if we provided a plan that needed to be executed a certain way and it doesn't, I just don't think that's right that we got to swallow that pill either.
I guess I'll just say too, as everybody knows, plans are plans. It's no different than anything that we do in the field. You can have the best laid plans, and as soon as you put that backhoe in the ground and start digging, you really don't know what you're going to run into. And I'm not saying that's the case here, but this is a major project that we got going on down there, and kind of like I hinted to at the start, when I was speaking, that we're going to run into things that were missed in the plans or a bit wrong in the plans that the contractor finds when they tear a wall down, and everybody goes, nobody knew that was there.
Yep.
type thing. So, yeah, I guess if the worst thing that we have is a wall opening that was, I don't want to say missed or whatever. I think we're doing actually pretty good down there, actually.
All right. Does anybody else have any other questions, comments, anything they'd like to add to this?
Well, the workmanship looks really good anyway.
It's getting there.
So if I do, my only maybe question, Kip, is consistent with this. It looks as though we had a detailed plan and specs, and we're asking for an adjustment to that now that we're digging the hole and doing the work. If my calculations are correct, the amount of the adjustment that's being requested is about 5% of the total planned cost. If I did my math right, that to me seems like it's within the range that not only that we budgeted for, but within the range of what a large project like this might bring.
Well, the total project cost all in was just under 13 million.
Oh, well, this is way below that then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, all in, all construction, engineering, everything that we've been working on pretty much for the last 2 years. It was 12.8, 12.9, somewhere in there.
Is this the only anticipated adjustment that we're expecting before project completion, or is this something we'll be revisiting on a monthly basis?
I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, John, but I believe this should get us really close. The only real thing that I'm seeing yet is we had in there some fencing costs, and we were actually going to tear the fence down and then put the old fence back up. And part of the Highway 35 project had to take part of our fence down and put our fence back, and it just destroyed the fence. So, one thing that we probably will be seeing coming here is that, probably some cost for new fencing. But I mean, other than that, unless John, you can think of anything off the top of your head that's going to be a larger ticket item. I think this should hopefully, they're not done with it, so I can't say for sure that we're not going to run into any more issues down there. But the 15 or however, what do we have, 18 that we have here, should run us pretty close to the end there.
All right. Thanks, Kip. One last time, any other questions or concerns? Okay.
Are you looking for a motion, Andrew?
Yes, ma'am. We are looking for a motion to approve of the $97,475.96 for the pay order.
Okay. I'll move.
I would like it to make
as submitted.
I would like to make an amendment to that motion to approve with exceptions of items 1, 3, 5, 6, 13, and 15. All of those items were either a contractor error or an SEH error, and they were exposed or they were on the plan. Somebody didn't see them, but it's not anything that was underwater or inside a wall that you couldn't see. Those 6 items were all exposed items.
Can you give me those numbers again, Mary? Do you want to amend?
3, 5, 6, 13, and 15.
Okay, give me a second here.
I think it comes up to about $22,000.
Did you already add it all up? I'm just doing the math on it right now.
I think it's somewhere around there. It's not huge, but
So if you don't approve 1, 3, 5, 6, 13, 15, we can ask SEH to go back to, all of these change orders also have been approved by the DNR, the funding source for this project. So before they even get to you guys, these change orders do go through DNR for approval. And then DNR comes back with questions back to the contractor and actually DNR has like a standard on what they'll pay for certain things. So if they do see if there's like a 15% increase and the contractor does have to justify why there was such an increase based off of what DNR has seen on past projects. So DNR has signed off on these. If you, I guess, with the ones that Mary is talking about, we can pull them off of this, have SEH, go back to the contractor. They can discuss and possibly come back with possibly some changes. That's already been done. So I don't know where it's going to go from there.
Okay. Just give me one more second here.
Does that kind of make sense what I was saying?
Yes.
You guys can approve this change order any way you want. If you want to approve it without those 1, 2, 3, 4, those 6 items, you can do that. My guess is you're going to see them next month again. They're going to come back.
And it'll be the same.
So Mary, are you asking for on each of those items? So in the photos, they have, like a 1 or 2 line description of the change. So are you asking them to go back to the original proposal, the RFP, and then show what they responded to the RFP with for each of these items, and then where the either error in their proposal came in, or that either it was an error in their proposal, or that once the project was opened up and seen in a way that they could not see during the RFP process, that they can, state that, this is why this is. Is that what you're looking for?
Not really. Correct me if I'm wrong, Caleb, I could have heard you incorrectly, but it sounded like these items that I called out were either contractor error or engineer error. They were on the plans and didn't happen or something. None of these were hidden. They were in the original plans. So what I'm saying is, I don't think the utility should have to pay for these items at all. And you decide. I would still need a second to my amendment, but if I don't get a second, then.
So let me ask this question real quick, Pip. So, we bring this amendment up. This goes back. It's reviewed. And who did you say? You said who's reviewing this for us then? Kip?
Well, so on all change orders.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll just use number 1 as an example. So the issue is seen, the change is talked about, the correction on how we can make this correct, things like that. It also goes through, so SEH goes back to the contractor, gets a price on what's it going to be, how much is it to fix it, how much is it to make it right. From that point, the contractor then submits a dollar amount. That dollar amount is reviewed by SEH. That dollar amount is then reviewed by the Department of Natural Resources, who's the funding agency on this project. So they have to review, all change orders have to go through them. So they review it. They give their recommendation back to the contractor and to SEH and say, the original change on number 1 could have been, let's say it was $3,000. And DNR came back and said, no, the most that we will pay for this is $2,302.42. So that's kind of how it goes. I guess, like I said, if you guys want to, you can pull these out. That's not a problem. And then it's going to be a fight between us, SEH, and the contractor as to who's going to pay for these things. So just because you guys pull them out today doesn't mean that they're going to go away.
So Are we gonna have the opportunity to state our case then to SEH?
Oh,
Or is
again,
this,
sure.
or is this gonna go back and they're just gonna say, nope, services rendered, you gotta pay for it regardless?
I don't know without having that conversation, I guess.
Okay,
I mean, yeah,
Well-
we can present the case to them.
Sure.
But like I said, I just don't know where it's going to go from there.
I
You
understand.
know, if Mary, I 100% understand what you're saying. And, maybe it's more of a explanation as to why they were missed in the plans or things of that nature. Maybe that's something that could be done. I guess I don't know. I don't know where you guys want to go with this.
Well, Mary,
My question, I guess
Go
my
ahead,
question
Susie.
to the group
Yeah.
is if we are concerned about things that were missed in the original proposal, meaning they didn't see this thing that indeed in the end had to be done versus this thing needed to be done. The contractor did it wrong, used supplies that didn't work, ended up redoing it, and we pay for that. I think, it's a couple different things here. And that's the part I don't have clarity on for each one.
I think, again, I understand what's being said. I'm just,
well,
boy,
let's do this.
you're putting a plan set together that's huge. I mean, if you've seen these plan sets, I mean, they're literally this thick. And to have things missed in there, it's going to happen.
And that's why I'm asking the group, that's why I'm asking the group, is it our responsibility to worry? I mean, my house is over 100 years old. We've torn it apart top to bottom. There are things you don't expect. And believe me, I imagine with a project like this, same thing. So with that, I expect there will be things that they didn't anticipate in the initial RFP. And with that, then I expect we would pay for those things. That's my expectation. Now,
sure. And the whole point, the whole point of a contingency allowance is for exactly things like this, where, it was an oversight. Okay. It might've been an oversight on SEH's part, on some of these things, but that is why you do put a contingency allowance into every project. So you have the money already kind of accounted for things like this.
So let's just do this then. Susie brings up good points. I think Mary brings up a very good, valid point. Mary proposed an amendment to this. So I broke this down. So we'll just take a vote on it and then we'll move on. So Mary voted to.
Heather, can I interject something here? As a technical matter, my motion was not seconded. So
I'll second Carrie's motion.
all right, so now we're talking about a vote on the amendment.
As it.
Well, it
yes,
has to be seconded first
Right.
correct.
before you can vote on it. It hasn't either been seconded.
Correct.
So yeah, we would
So-
need a second on Mary's motion if anybody wants to second that.
Correct. So would anybody like to second Mary's motion to amend number 3, 5, 6, 13, and 15 in the amount of $21,692.36?
It's actually 1, 3, 5, 6, 13.
1, 3, so I missed one. Apologies. Anyone? Opposed?
I'm sorry, the amendment for Mary, your amendment said,
It would be an amendment to Carrie's motion to approve the change order request with the exception of items 1, 3, 5, 6, 13, and 15.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Aye or nay.
Aye. So motion is declined. And Carrie, we already got a second for yours.
You need a new motion on that then.
Okay.
You
we'll take it.
would need a new motion to
No.
accept.
I don't So because my
You don't think
amendment
so? Go ahead,
I'm-
Mary, I'm sorry.
failed, so the main motion stands,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
That's my understanding.
So I think it's just a vote on the main motion.
Okay,
Okay. I mean, as long as everybody's fine with that, otherwise, if you want to make another motion with a second on, as the change order stands, it's up to you guys.
That was already done.
I'm falling in
Yeah.
where I'm
Let's just-
unsure the rules of
We'll
order
just keep-
here.
we'll just keep trucking here. So we have a first and a second motion by Carrie and Joyce to approve the change order as it stands. I believe, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pat? All opposed?
I oppose.
Okay. All right, motion carries.
Perfect. All right, John, Caleb, you guys are more than welcome to log off if you want. You're more than welcome to stay too if you've got absolutely nothing to do and you just feel like hanging out with us tonight. But otherwise, thank you for being on. We do appreciate your input on that. So, thank you. And we should be ready for the next one then, Andy.
Great. All right, so we are moving on to the Magni Pay app number 20.
So Magni Pay App number 20 in the amount of $54,313.94. And hopefully nobody has questions on it because I just threw the guys out that could have possibly answered the questions. So, sorry,
No questions on that one.
I didn't throw them out. They left.
Had enough.
Anybody else have questions on this one?
I'll
All
move to
right.
approve.
Thank you.
Joyce?
Do we have a second?
Second,
Second by Susie. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries for approval. Thank you. All right, moving on here. I gotta find my spot again. All right, so now we are on to the issue sheet, 2020 service rates.
Okay, so this is the same thing that we do every year. Basically, what these are the state of Wisconsin, the 2022 rates for any equipment that we might be using that we would have to bill out for. So basically, this just gives us, I'll just use the first one. It's an air compressor. If we have to bill out for an air compressor to anybody, it would be a $14.28 an hour. So it just gives us rates. So it's just setting the standard for that.
So.
So we would need a motion and a second on these.
To approve the issue sheet.
Yeah.
Anybody have questions on this?
Well, my only question, it looks like this is dictated by the state.
It is.
And not-
It's standard. It's standard. So pretty much all communities use this, to where you don't have Hudson charges, whatever, $100 for a floor sweeper and New Richmond charges $5,000 type thing. I mean, I suppose you still could do it, but it just kind of sets a standard rate for communities.
I move to approve the 2022 service rates.
Do we have a second?
This is
Second.
a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, issue sheet carries for service rates. 3.5, discussion and possible action on updated costs associated with well number 6 rehab.
All right, so well 6 was bid and awarded to Keys Well Drilling at the January 2022 PUC meeting. After removing the well and inspecting the parts, Keys is recommending replacement of 240 feet of 10-inch column. The original proposal to do the work was, to pull everything out, do the inspection, and then put everything back for $19,377.50. The updated costs, including the additional 240 feet of 10-inch column, jumped that price up to $43,825. We are recommending going with this, and I guess what I'm going to say about that, we pulled well 6 5 years ago. We replaced 240 feet of 10-inch column 5 years ago when that well was replaced. After talking to Keys, we really can't figure out what is going on why we're getting pitting. And the reason that it's being replaced, if you had looked at some of the pictures that I included in there, where the chalk lines are, you can kind of see that pitting in there. That's actually on the outside of there, on the outside of where that pitting is happening is where the threads are. So that's actually the weakest part of that pipe. In between there, where these pipes go together, there's actually what we call a spider, which just helps stiffen up the pipe and keeps everything nice and straight and things like that. So we're thinking that we're getting some turbulence out of those spiders. And it could just be the chemical makeup of the water that we're pumping out of the ground, which is causing this. Because like I said, we're seeing this. This is twice now in 10 years that we're seeing this. One recommendation that we do have, we can't reuse this pipe. And the reason, it could end up, if something starts breaking, we could end up with just a catastrophic failure of that well. And we don't want to go that route, that's for sure. One thing that I didn't include, I had just talked again to Keys Well Drilling today. And one thing that I would like to have included in this also is for the additional $2,400, we can actually epoxy coat like the first 12 to 14 inches inside that pipe. So when they put it back together, there would be epoxy coating in there, which we're hoping would help with the pitting that's going on. There's no way to know if it's going to work or not work until we pull this well again in 5 years. So I guess, at this point, we are looking at replacing the 24 or 240 feet of 10 inch. We went back and looked at what we paid for the 10 inch column 5 years ago, and price has almost doubled in steel. It's just the way the world that we're living in now. It's getting the steel, it's finding the steel. Everything, as we know, shipping, all that kind of stuff is difficult. So prices have gone up. So we are paying about double for them 24 pieces of column than we did 5 years ago. But the well is pulled. It's at Keys. It's in their shop. So I guess we kind of just need to do this. One other thing just to keep in mind, that we do have money in our reserves, to pay for stuff like this. We also, as part of our budgeting process, we did booster pump number 1. It was part of the budget process. Well number 6 was part of the budget process, and well number 4, which we have not touched yet, was part of the budget process. We budgeted $59,000, I believe, in our budget. So we would, just out of our budget, we would have enough to cover well 6. We won't have enough out of that $59,000 to cover well 4. So what I am recommending is that we approve the $43,825 out of our additional funds. That leaves us the $59,000 in our budget still for well 4. If we don't spend it, it's not like the money goes anywhere. At the end of the year, if there's money left, it just goes right back into our savings accounts. But I don't want to, otherwise if we only want to budget, or if we only want to use our reserve funds for the difference, there's the potential, if we run into any issues on well 4, that I could be back here in a month or two asking for more money out of our contingency. If we just take care of it now with the $43,825, I believe the $59 remaining should get us well 4 and the booster. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got a quick question, Kip. One of the items towards the bottom, it says rebuild pump Simmons 10-inch model SL11H-7. What's it cost to purchase a new pump? What's the benefit of rebuilding one? I mean, is it just still good and they're just kind of like taking it apart and doing some
Yeah,
maintenance on it, or-
they'll take them apart. They'll just take them apart and rebuild them. I honestly, Andy, I wouldn't even know the
Not
cost
even a thing.
of brand new on all this stuff.
Okay.
I have a question. How long would you normally expect these to last?
More than 5 years.
I mean, 10?
I mean, really, we've pulled pumps already that we haven't had to do hardly anything to them. It might just be, clean them up, take some scale off them, things of that. You really don't know. Like I said, until we pull these out, so when we budget for the pulling, we're hoping and our fingers are crossed that we don't have to do a lot of work to these pumps when we pull them out every 5 years. But for some reason, this is twice now that we've had to replace the columns. And that's why I'm hoping that this extra $2,400, if we do the epoxy on them, we're hoping that will help, but I don't know until we pull it again in 5 years from now.
Kip, did I hear you correctly when you said that the column had been replaced in the 5 year previous to 2017 and like 2011 or 12?
I don't know, Mary. I didn't go back that far to look. I just know it was replaced in 2017.
Right. Okay. I wasn't sure if you went back further and found that it had been replaced there.
I did not go back that far.
What,
How about stainless steel? Do they ever use stainless steel?
You probably don't even want to see the price of that.
no.
Well, and then you had mentioned something about you didn't know if there was something going on in the water that was causing the corrosion. Is there a way to check for that?
I mean, possibly. I mean, we could probably send a sample and see if there is anything going on with that. We have not done that. Because like I said, 5 years ago, we replaced them. We're hoping, it could have been crappy pipe too. Who knows?
That was my other question.
Sometimes you get just a shoddy batch of pipe that comes through. It's no different than water main that we replace, things of that nature. It's just, maybe it was made on a Friday. I don't know.
I know the 17 report talked about biofoul. And do we have enough water supply to keep that particular well offline to figure out what the problem is?
As of right, I mean, it's down right now. So well 6 is obviously not pumping right now. And the reason that we do it now is because our consumption is down. If this is gonna, we can try to, pull a sample out of there, in the next week or two and see what we can come up with. The issue is that as soon as spring hits, well 6 is one of our big producers. So once spring hits and irrigation starts, there's no way that we can have well 6 offline. And especially we can't, and that's why well 4 isn't started yet, because we can't have too many wells offline at one time.
Oh, and it hasn't even been years because they did this the end of October of.
I'm sorry, say that again.
They did it the end of October of 17, so it's just over 4 years, and beginning of November somewhere in there.
Right.
Last bill from them was actually in February of 2018. So this got done at the end of the year in 17, so it hasn't been 5 years. It's closer to 4.
Yeah, probably closer to 4. Yeah, we've talked about all this in-house, about trying to figure out, what if it is a water issue. Like I said, it could just be a turbulence issue when it's hitting them spiders that are in there. And because actually a spider, they don't have a pic. I didn't include it. They don't have a picture of one in here. It's a round circle with like some X's, round circle. And then it's got X's that run through it like that, which stabilizes that pipe. So, the water as it's rushing by, we're just thinking that it could possibly just be some turbulence in there. And we're hoping that the epoxy is going to help us. Talking to Keys, they have had other communities that do epoxy. And they said that what he's seen, it's been good, but there isn't enough information out there, or at least enough information that Keys is aware of, to say, yes, this will fix your problem, or no, it won't fix your problem.
Okay. So are there any more questions?
Yes, Kip, I think the cost of the epoxy was somewhere around what, 2,400 or 2,500, and that was not included in this bid?
That was not, yeah. So the 43,825 that you're seeing from Keys in the proposal here, or the quotation, is for everything that's listed there. The epoxy, if we want to add the epoxy, we also need to add 2,400 for the epoxy. It's $100 a pipe is basically what it comes down to, which would be each end, $50 each end.
And those pipes are so pitted they can't be epoxied with filler or anything like that?
Great question, because I asked that exact same question. Keys will not give me a recommendation on if we epoxy them and we put them back in, are we not gonna have issues? So the chance is, we could epoxy these, we could reuse this pipe and save what, $23,400. The issue is are the threads going to hold up with the pitting that's currently there? Is the pipe itself just going to hold up? I guess I don't want to take that chance of having something break, and next thing you know, then we have to re-pull the well again. We have to try to fish pipe out, from 240 feet, a hole 240 feet down in the earth. That's just my opinion. Keys does not suggest putting it back in, and I agree with them on that.
Okay.
I get just for the reasons I said.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. Is there a monitoring plan then for this well, since apparently we don't know if the column's only going to last 4 or 5 years, with or without epoxy?
The only way to monitor any of this is to pull the well out again. To pull the pump on top, to pull all the piping out, and just take a look at it. There's not enough room in the wells that we could, run cameras down, things of that nature. So I don't know how else we would monitor.
So it wasn't televised this time, right?
We did not televise it this time, no.
But you could do that now with the pump being pulled.
Well, we could, yeah, we could do it. All you're going to be looking at is your casings.
Well,
but we could televise it. We definitely can.
I don't know, but there's obviously a problem with this well.
Well, and that's right. Again, we're thinking it's we don't have an issue, and I don't want to. I'm trying to come up with the right term, because I don't want to use water quality, because that's not the case. The water is safe. The water is fine. That's why we're thinking it's more of a turbidity issue around these spiders that sit right where all of this pitting is happening. So that's why we're thinking if it is a turbidity issue, and the wells are not adjustable, so we can't turn them up, turn them down, things like that. But we're thinking if it is a turbidity issue, we're hoping that the epoxy coating will help eliminate that pitting.
Okay.
That makes sense?
So the raw samples from that well have been fine. They've been tested for everything.
We test that stuff on a daily basis.
All right. Would anybody like to make a motion to add on the epoxy for 2,400?
I will.
Joyce, is there a second?
Second, Pat.
So Andy, just to clarify, so are we looking at using reserve funds of 43,825 plus the 2,400? Or
Yes.
are you guys looking at the difference between the 43 and the 19? Like I said, I would suggest, I mean, we have the funds. I would suggest using the 40, we'll use reserve funds of 43,825 plus the 2,400 for the epoxy, which still leaves us our budgeted amount for booster 1 and well 4.
Yes, that is what I'm suggesting.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear, so we're clear on what I'm supposed to do here.
Yep, and that'll bring us a total of 46,225.
Okay.
Okay. So we got Joyce. So would you like me to take another call on that, or are we good with Joyce?
Yeah,
and Pat
let's
first and
just
second?
let's
Okay.
just do another vote on that just for.
So we're gonna motion to approve the total of the 43,825 plus the additional 2,400 for the reserve funds, bringing us a total of $46,225. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Joyce, thank you. Second.
Second.
Pat, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Moving on to 3.6, update and recommendations to City Council on Chapter 242-1 of the City Code. I know, Kip, you had gone in there and made one change. I did have an opportunity to read through that. It looks like all we really did was just change the verbiage just so that it's just a little more detailed and clear, which I appreciate. Other than that, I think the rest of it looks pretty good. Did everybody else have an opportunity to look at that?
Are you talking about paragraph B?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
the paragraph B, again, and I just added this today. When I downloaded all this stuff, it didn't download right. And Andy called me today on it. So if you're looking at the new, what I had reposted, or if you're looking at the website, the city website, you can just see kind of what I highlighted there. The black highlight is the original language in the ordinance. And then all I did was I took the red highlight is what was agreed upon in the water agreement between us and the village. Other than that, I didn't see anything really in the ordinance that needed to be changed, unless you guys had something that you wanted to bring. In all, again, these are just recommendations to the council. We don't have the authority to make changes to this, but they are asking all of the committees to look at their stuff and make any recommendations back to city council. So then city council can review and discuss and possibly make the changes to the ordinance. So unless anybody else had anything to add or subtract or anything like that, we would need a motion just to send this to city council for review.
All right.
So the mayor approves even the North Hudson member? I thought the North Hudson member was approved by the village board, so.
Yeah,
The
because if you read it, the black Mary will come out.
Mhm.
Are you looking at the highlighted, what I sent out today?
I brought that up, but the way it's worked is that the mayor appoints 6 members from Hudson and the village board appoints 1 member.
Oh, okay, you're right up at the start.
Yeah.
Utility consists of 7 members appointed by the mayor. Okay,
And
so do we want to recommend that change to 6 then? Because the village,
by the mayor.
Yes,
Yep.
because that's how it's supposed to be.
right, because the village recommends, okay.
So you could say the commission shall consist of 6 members appointed by the mayor and 1 member appointed by the village president,
Right,
Correct.
subject to the approval of the respective governing bodies for 3-year terms.
I'm just making notes here, so bear with me. Yeah, okay. Yep, I
Maybe
can make that
review
change.
this and bring it back next month. or is there urgency?
I'll just make that, I mean, unless there's going to be a whole ton of them that you guys want to review a clean ordinance, I will just make that one change that we just discussed. I will, everything that's highlighted, the black words will actually come out. The red words will go in to reflect what was agreed upon in the the water agreement with the village.
Okay. So we are looking for a motion to approve the change from the black to the red, and then the change that Mary suggested.
Correct.
So the commission shall consist of 6 members appointed by the mayor and 1 appointed by the village president.
Correct.
So we're looking for a motion to approve that.
Yeah, and then send it, just a motion to approve,
Send it over to city
the
council for
changes and
review.
send to city council for review.
Very good. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Thank you. So that was Joyce and a second by Susie.
Yep, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Project updates, project status report.
Okay, so you got your project status report. Pretty much the only thing on there is the wastewater treatment plant. And then we'll get into the monthly update in number 5. So.
Okay. All right, other business for informational purposes or for upcoming agenda, wastewater treatment plant monthly update. Kip.
Yep. So you've got your January construction summary in there. Painting continues on interior walls. A variable frequency drives used on the primary wastewater pumps began phased replacement. The aeration basins, south set of tanks were drained, cleaned, air diffusers were demolished. Next steps are painting the walls and installing new diffusers. Then the sludge conditioning building painting continues on interior walls and pipe. Last pump replacement will be sequenced with draining of final clarifiers. And then as always, you've got some nice pictures in there to kind of just show you the progress of what's going on down there. So.
Awesome. All right.
And there is no cash reports this month.
Yep, I saw that. And discussion of possible action. Oh, go ahead, Mary. Did you have something?
In relation, to the cash reports and stuff, can't you run those now with Civic, the My View thing? Like the one you gave me when we were looking at budgets October? I thought the whole idea moving to Civic was you can have these My View dashboard reports at your fingertips, basically.
Yeah.
I know you can, which why I was going to request like a monthly update, like the one you did I think it was October or November when we were doing budgets. It showed all the accounts and where they were in relation to budget and how much of the budget was used and what was remaining and that kind of thing. I think having that kind of thing will help us keep track of the budget before October.
That is completely up to this commission if they want to see monthly, quarterly updates on the budget. In terms of the cash reports, and again, I know we've had a boatload the last couple of months of excuses. We're not hiding anything, please believe me on that. But we were going through the software change, which was a complete mess, which the cash reports are generated from accounting. And then the other issue that we actually had this time was the billing issue that we had with the village took a lot of precedent away from accounting and billing. And then actually our billing clerk has been out the last, she's just got back here this week. She's been out with some sickness and things like that. So I do apologize again for that. I guess it's up to the commission if they want to, if you want us to generate kind of an up-to-date budget report, we can. It's just, this is all on what you guys want.
I don't know. I think it's a good idea to see where you are every month. Well, especially in the summer months when things get really rolling, but I think it's a good idea to see where you are budget wise on spending.
Would
There
you
used to be
be,
quarterly reports.
I was about to say, would you be against doing a quarterly thing, Mary?
Well, no. I mean, those were great. It showed how much water was pumped, how much was used.
Yeah, I wouldn't, I agree. I wouldn't mind a quarterly report on that.
I just thought the other one would be easier because my view, it's all in there. You just have to pull it up. Sorry, I kind of stepped over you, Kip, on that one. Were we still in business for informational purposes?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Did you finish?
Well, not really.
No, we
Okay,
we
go
were
for it.
actually past that, but that's okay.
Go for it.
Okay. I want to say congratulations to the water utility. When did you become a certified lab?
About 2 weeks ago,
Just recently.
What's
3 weeks ago.
that all about?
A lot of it stemmed, so just so everybody knows, we did become a certified lab for bacteria sampling. The issue that we kept running into, we do a lot of bacteria sampling, not only on our wells, things, that we do on a daily basis and things like that, but we also do a lot of bacteria sampling, for different projects that are happening around town. So a new subdivision goes in before any of that stuff it gets put online. The whole thing has to be bacteria sampled. So there's multiple samples that come out of different points that have to be tested. The issue that we kept running into was bacteria samples are time sensitive. And with us being in Hudson, we need to send those bacteria samples down to Madison. And with the postal service that is currently available to us, we were running into issues where our samples were arriving late. And once they're late, they're useless. They throw them away. We have to start the process all over again, which not only is time consuming and expensive for us, staff wise and things of that nature, but it also prolongs the results, the negative result that we're looking for in a bacteria sample, which could prolong getting a subdivision online or something along that line. So we started kind of looking into what's it going to be to be our own sampling site, and hats off to Jennifer from my staff that kind of took this and just ran with it. She did all the legwork on this. So yeah, we are up and running as a sample site now. So not saying that we won't send any down to Madison or anything like that, but for the most part, we should be able to do the majority of these, or most of them, if not all of them, in-house now.
So no plans yet to help out River Falls or a local community doing bacteria sampling?
We're not in the sampling business for anybody but ourselves.
Okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
I think it's a thing.
Yeah, we talked about it, but I don't want to start getting in that business. My staff has enough to do. It's enough that we have to do our own sampling. So yeah, we're just going to keep it. Not to say we'll never do it, but the way it stands today, no.
All right.
This would just be for us, and North Hudson's included in that. I mean, if Patrick has samples that he needs, done for whatever reason, because I know you guys are doing one of your streets next year. I can't remember, Wisconsin.
Yep.
So I mean, there's going to be Bac-T samples that are going to have to come out of that. I mean, that's easily done through us.
Great.
Good deal.
Thanks for
I
bringing
think-
that up too, Mary. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So I think we left off on discussion of possible action on claims. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. And utility payables.
Move to approve?
We have a second.
Second.
All in
I have a
favor?
question.
Mary, go ahead.
Oh, I think it's the February 6th payable, page 1 to Core and Main, an annual fee of $14,000.
Yeah, is that ants, what page
No.
were you on? I'm sorry, Mary.
Page 1, oh, you mean, it's page 55, I think, of the packet.
Okay. Yeah,
it's-
I'm on a different.
It's the
If
February-
it's the fee that I think that you're talking about, I'd have to find it in here.
It
But-
says computer programming.
Annual fee. So that's part of our licensing agreement with our meter reading. There's fees that we pay every year for the computer programming service for our meter reading is what that is. I have the detail. I have the detail on that if anybody cares and wants to see it, but that's what that's about.
I thought you could do the meter reading in-house.
We do.
So is this a license fee?
It's like a licensing fee. That's pretty much what it is.
Wow. That's a lot.
I agree.
Doesn't the civic utility billing model have something like that?
You know, I'd have to go. We've been paying that licensing fee, and I'm not trying to escape it. To be honest, Mary, I would have to go back and look. We've been paying this for 5 years, ever since we started the AMI metering program.
Yeah.
I would have to go back and look to see exactly what that all includes. I can't tell you right off the top of my head, but I know it's an annual fee that we do pay as part of our agreement with Census and Civic. Or this is probably just with Census because that's who Core Main deals with.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, move to approve.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second. This is Carrie.
Thank you, Carrie.
No, I already made the motion before to approve.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I think Joyce.
No.
In the discussion part.
Come on, Joyce wants the credit.
Yeah, that's right.
So maybe we'll have Susie be the second. How about that?
I think I might have been last time as well. Not sure.
You know what? Here's what we'll do. We'll leave it up to Jace when he reviews the tape tomorrow to see who came in first. How about that?
All right, guys, all in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Aye. Motion, all opposed? Motion carries. And adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second,
Second.
all in